How's it going, everyone? It's Sam. More people need to listen to Tom Lee. I think Tom Lee has been right on the money, and today we have a very well-known Twitter account that has been talking with a lot of very important people behind the scenes for years, ever since like the FTX fallout and some of the other issues that came up during the bear market. They've been right in the ears of the most important people in the crypto industry, and they heard from someone at a Bitcoin ETF firm today, more people should listen to Fundstrat and to listen to Tom Lee when he makes Bitcoin predictions. They also go over a couple other things that are happening. So I want to show you what Tom Lee just said in the last day, and then also show you what this means for Bitcoin. If you don't mind, hit subscribe, turn on the bell notification underneath the video so you can see future videos just like this. Also, if you want to trade crypto, there's a link to Blofin underneath the video. Trading isn't right for everyone, but you can make insane gains if you do this properly. As you can see here, we're up thousands and thousands of dollars on our positions. And when you use the link to Blofin, we're going to give you some sign-up bonuses. I actually just have a new sign-up bonus to give you. So check for that underneath the video. And when you sign up and start depositing and do some trading, that's when you can get some of these extra bonuses. So definitely check that out. And also exciting news. End of 2024 is here. 2025 is going to bring up a lot of exciting things. We are going to do a total rehaul of the Patreon, or a change up of the Patreon geared towards beginners. So be on the lookout for that in the future, but let's start here. Andrew, AP Abacus, says a conversation this morning with a source at a BTC ETF firm. Inflows will accelerate in Q1 2025. So they're probably hearing from different hedge funds or different pension providers, different companies that they are going to be buying these ETFs. They just need to wait until a certain date. The BSR will happen even if it's BSR light. So strategic reserve is going to happen in Q1, they're saying. We expect price to push over 150K, and more people should listen to Fundstrat when he makes Bitcoin predictions. Now, let's look at what Tom Lee said just yesterday, and then we'll extrapolate this to Bitcoin and see what this means, because it has direct implications on Bitcoin.
Well, what you wished for earlier, we were like, wow, there's nothing going on in the futures. We're down 20 points on the Dow, and we had just fractional losses. And here you go. It has turned into this, Tom Lee, significant declines. Now, especially after what happened last week on Friday. Tom Lee's here, Fundstrat.
This is from yesterday, just so you know.
Global Advisors, Chief Investment Officer, and a CNBC contributor. This is not this is a Grinch rally or the Grinch sell-off. This is not a Santa Claus rally. It's not going as planned, Tom.
It's not. I think investors have been a bit nervous since December 18th, the FOMC rate decision, and worried that the Fed may not be as dovish as investors previously thought. But I think fundamentals have remained intact. So to us, I think this is a bit disappointing, but it's, I think, a bit of profit taking, some hesitancy around the Fed. But I think it doesn't really change that 2025 is shaping up to have a lot of tailwinds.
So this just delays some of the continuation in a secular bull market that you've been talking about?
That's right. I mean, I think one of the lessons of 2024 has been we've seen periods of market wobbling and weakness. We know investors get pretty quick to turn bearish when that happens, but it turns out that these have all proven to be buying opportunities. I don't think there's a lot of signal to me that December's been a weak month. It is obviously disappointing because it should be a seasonally strong period, but if we end down even S&P 5,900 into year end, I don't think it just changes that in 2025. There's a lot to look forward to.
So what you thought might happen this year being put off. So what does that mean for next year? Let's say the first half of next year. What do you think we're in for? And with valuations and where multiples are right now, with all that in mind, do you think it could be a really positive first half of the year?
I do think that one of the things that we're watching most closely is what happens to CEO confidence early next year. We know they've been cautious for the last 2.5 years. It's really evident in looking at measures like the ISM manufacturing that's been below 50 since October 2022. And that's highly correlated with S&P earnings growth. I do think that that's going to finally recover to above 50, kind of signaling that we're back into an expansionary CEO mindset. It is purchasing managers. On top of that, we have an incoming administration that ultimately is going to be viewed by markets as pro-business, and I think that reignites animal spirits. And I think the Fed is going to prove to be dovish. Even if they're trying to figure out where neutral is, they're still supportive of markets. It's a good combination for I think upside for equity. So, in the first half of next year, I think S&P can get close to 7,000, and that's a lot of upside from here.
7,000. You've made some prescient calls about inflation or about the markets based on inflation. Do you think recent worries that it's reheating are misplaced right now?
I do think inflation worries are misplaced. I know there's a lot of folks calling for a resurgence of inflation, and I know for whatever reason, January typically doesn't seem to be seasonally adjusted away, so we could see what looks like a surge in January CPI. But to me, the drivers of inflation are wages, and the Fed has said the labor market is not in a place that is inflationary. It's shelter, and we know shelter is really just catching up from the gap between where market prices are, which is not as inflationary, to how the statistical adjustments get CPI to where that needs to be. And we know auto insurance has really distorted CPI to the upside for the last few years, and that's cooling. So unless there is a supply shock coming, I don't know exactly why we would have a second wave of inflation. So to me, I think there's downside risk to inflation in 2025.
He says that the S&P 500 can go to 7,000. That is an 18.6% gain from where we are right now. Well, this year, we saw the S&P 500 go up 24%. Bitcoin went up about 5x that. It's up 122%. So extrapolate that out. That means that if Bitcoin does something similar, it goes up 5x what the S&P 500 goes up, we could be seeing about a $181,420 Bitcoin. Interesting. Now, Tom Lee has specifically said that he thinks we could get up to a $250,000 Bitcoin. I think when times are good, people put more money in things that are a little bit higher risk, higher volatility. So yeah, if we have another 20% move, I could see Bitcoin going up even faster, especially if we do see re-accelerated buys or accelerated buys from the ETFs. Let me know your thoughts on all this underneath the video. Again, if you want to leverage trade and we are right, let's say we're right about these big moves in the future, you can get really, really wealthy from some of these leverage trades, but you have to understand there's huge amounts of volatility and huge amounts of risks. But there is that link to Blofin. Thank you so much. I appreciate it. Let me know your thoughts on this underneath the video, and I'll see y'all in the next one.